This is my first attempt at a video. The plan is to make some videos to put on YouTube. I want to share some comedy, some religion, some coin collecting, some Superman, DC collecting in general, collecting in specifics, and basically any number of other interesting and hopefully informative type things. I hope to inject some humor of my own, such as being taller than my hair and unfortunately shorter than my weight. In fact, the doctor said I had to start watching my weight, so I put it out where I could see it. And it's there. So anyway, I'm not a handsome guy. There's not much reason to follow me if you're looking for somebody with good looks. I'm wearing my robe instead of dressing up in my best suit, which is actually a tuxedo. But that goes with a story, and I'll have to tell you about that. That is not a wedding story. In fact, I have found out in my many years, I'm relatively old. Until God invented dirt, I really didn't have much to play with. But in the course of my life, I have found out, well, actually, in the last couple of years, that there's a lot of things that you can't make fun of anymore. You know, it used to be you could talk about the gay community, you could be talking about, handicapped people, you could talk about lots of different kinds of things that isn't really good anymore to be discussing. Because nobody's taking that lightly. It used to be that we took such things lightly. You could poke fun at politics, you could poke fun at genders, you could poke fun at practically anything because it was comedy. So you don't take comedy seriously, you take speeches seriously. But comedy is just comedy. People trying to be funny. And if you laugh, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means you can relate to the comedy that's being expressed. And that doesn't mean that you have some kind of agenda against the people that you're not supposed to talk about, whoever they are. And what makes them so elite anyway that they can't be spoken of in some kind of comedic fashion? We laugh if somebody falls down. Usually we laugh before we find out if they're okay. We do lots of different kinds of things just because that's the way it strikes us at the moment. We don't think it through. It's kind of an instinctive reaction. Animals, other than hyenas, don't laugh, and animals like hyenas aren't laughing anyway. They just have some kind of an internal structure that makes it necessary for them to make that kind of noise. It is their communication technique. Sounds like laughing to us. Now, the joke about that is that obviously if a hyena's laughing at you and you're offended by that, certainly you should take that up with the hyena involved. But coming down to a kind of a comedy channel, which is what my kind of intention is, I plan on throwing some other stuff in there because I'm going to run out of jokes before I have a chance to finish. But anyway, as we talk about subjects for which comedy would be appropriate and generalized or even specified as to a group of people that people can make fun of without being upset by it. Now, I had to stop and think of what group of people could you make fun of, as a rule, that nobody would be upset, that there was no community of them, no force of them, no voting block of them, no union of them. So there isn't anybody to say, we can't talk about them in a funny way. Now that strikes me as an interesting thing. So who can these people be, huh? Yes, we want to know, don't we, my precious? Well, the deal is, nobody cares if you talk about Neanderthals. What you say? Nobody cares if you talk about Neanderthals? Is that true? I think it is. Now, the paleontologists in our community, they may be offended by what we say about Neanderthals, but they're unlikely to speak on their behalf because they don't know if the Neanderthals would be hurt by our conversations if it should include Neanderthals. However, there seems to be a group of people that will speak up for people who don't have a problem with the comedy that they're hearing, but will speak up for them as if they know whether the other group that's with them and listening is offended. Being offended for the sake of someone else. That's kind of empathetic, and that's probably pretty good. Sympathetic too in some ways, But reality is, you don't know what other people think or feel or know because you're not them. And if you are them, then you should be the one talking for yourself. If you're offended by something, just leave. And you don't have to make a scene to leave, you can just leave. If there aren't enough people in the audience for the comedian to make any money for the joint, or if you can't sell tickets someplace, then he's going to be out of a job soon enough. So you don't have to heckle him from the crowd to tell him how outraged you are about his jokes about some race, religion, color, or creed. It's not necessary. Just leave the guy up there by himself. Nobody wants to hire somebody who can't draw an audience. Don't be offended for some other people. They can be offended all by themselves. They don't need your help. And certainly people talking about you can offend you, and you should speak up about it if it does. If it's important to you, not how important it is to someone else. Now, I like comedy. I think comedy releases oxytocin or something like that. Some kind of other muscle relaxing things, So there's other things that they say that laughter is good medicine. And for some people on this planet, any medicine is a good medicine because you can afford to laugh. Can't afford to buy medicine. So why don't we create more laughter and maybe the need for less medicine? Now, big pharma, I hear that word a lot on the internet. Big pharma will tell you don't laugh because laughing is bad for big pharma. And they may take down this video, so you better watch it while you can, because if you don't watch it while you can, big pharma may take it down and you won't have a chance to get this free gift I'm offering, which is me. I'm the free gift I'm offering. I'm offering you a chance to hear and see me. And because of that, Big Pharma might get angry at me. Fortunately, I'm out of the reach of Big Pharma, so they can't poison me or attack me directly. But they may have friends on YouTube that would want me out of business because I make people laugh, and laughing people don't need medicine so much. Isn't that good? So anyway, that's my plan. Oh, there's another group of people that nobody cares about if you make fun of them. There is. And they're right next door. Or they've been in your house. Or perhaps you're one of them. And nobody cares if people make fun of you. Who is that, you might ask? I'm certain you would ask if I was there, that you could ask. But I'm not there. But I'm going to tell you anyway, because that's the fun of it. And I'm talking about exes, ex-wives, ex-husbands, ex-boyfriends, ex-dogs, ex-cats. The exes that don't mark the spots. Or they marked the spot where they did their business and left you in ruins. And you can say, what's funny about exes? Well, I'm on my third wife. And my first two exes were interesting people. The first one in the wrong way. Yeah, she was one of those, a witch with a capital B. And there's the other one who was kind of a nice ex in that she didn't take me for all my money. She just left with some other guy, and, that happens because that's what the first one did. And there were 17 years in between before I would trust another girl. And that person was a person I married the second time. I even left America to go find her and bring her home to America. Trouble is, she found out about the divorce laws. And she left. I let her go for a year. And she didn't come back. So I divorced her. And now it's okay. So, amazingly enough, about 3 years later, her present husband calls me to ask me if she had any problems while I was married to her. How do you answer a question like that from your ex's husband? Now, obviously, to me, he's trying to get some kind of dirt evidence, something like that. So this is what I told him. I said, this is what I found out in the marriage. Number one, she's an adulteress. And number two, so are you. And I'm not going to help you in any way whatsoever. Click. Hung up the phone. Never heard from him again and never sought to find either of them. Because she left me for another guy, and that was the guy that called. So why should I help somebody like that? She was a pretty good girl. She was a nice girl. She was just immature, wasn't used to being in America, and thought she had a nice ticket, found a better ticket. People can be like that, and you either have to let them go, be what they are, be who they are, or you can hang on to them forever and whine and beg and plead about them. But that just wastes a lot of valuable time. Somebody wants to go, let them go. God hates divorce, and that's true. God hates divorce. But if somebody leaves you, what are you going to do? And Jesus said that's the two ways out of divorce, out of marriage is one, they abandon you, okay? And two, you're an adulterer. My ex wins on both counts. I'm free. My first ex, on the other hand, should never have been my ex, because I should never have married that woman and knew when I married her that I should not have married her. She did things that in my immature and sorry state of my mind hypnotized me into believing she was a decent person. And brother, she was anything but. And for 13 years, I had to put up with a lot of stuff because I didn't believe in divorce. I was in the military, a lot of things happened. But you know what? If I tell you everything now, you won't come back and look at my channel. You'll know all there is. So, if you want to know more, you know what you have to do. You have to hit that like button. I understand that if you hit the like button, then I can stay on the air. If I can stay on the air, you'll hear more interesting stories, and I can download content and things like that. How to deal with divorce if that's what you're going through. And believe me, having gone through two of them, one really bad one and one really okay, no divorce is okay. They're painful, they're sense of betrayal and all of the other kind of emotions that run through all of that. But it happens. Sometimes it's not a good thing it happens. Sometimes you get back together with the person that you divorced. I've seen that happen in my own family. So, you know, there's things that happen during a divorce. And we're going to talk about many of them as we can. But the one thing I do want to tell you is don't lose hope. Don't think that everything has just come crashing down and now you are hopeless and helpless in a way that you have never been before. I got good news. It's not hopeless. And you're not helpless. Whatever brought you to the point where you could marry someone, still in there. And because it's still in there, that means it can still come out. But it has to come through a lot of pain and sorrow and grief, you know, before you're absolutely free to present it. So take that into consideration that it takes time to get ready if you're going to start a new relationship. Now, some relationships end because of death, and we'll talk about that. But right now, we're just talking about divorce and what you can do about it to prevent it. We want to certainly prevent divorce if that's possible, head it off at the pass, so to speak. But we also want to talk about things to help you get through it. But that's only a part of this channel, my part. These are things I get to talk about. But I hope to put on some movies that are good, you know, some positive influences. I don't want to put anything negative on here, okay? I don't want people to make negative comments. They will, but I don't want them to. You know, I want people who like the channel to say they like the channel, and people that don't like the channel, switch off. You don't necessarily have to nail me to the wall with your dislike. And I might shave by the next time I see you. Who knows? I won't grow a beard. My wife forbids me. but every once in a while it shows up. And it's been a while for a haircut too, and certainly the eyebrows had an effect that's just, I don't know. But on the other hand, maybe this is a clown's face. And therefore, being the comedian that I am, this is the face I should always present. But that is undecided until my wife actually reviews this video and she tells me what she wants me to look like. Because happy wife, happy life. So that's the way it is. I don't know if you should mention the date or not, but it's July 2022. And this is not an anthology or a diary or anything like that. It's just a chance to sit down and talk to you. So this is my first one. I hope it's not my last. Thank you very much for your time. Certainly enjoyed talking with you and enjoy your day. Signing off.